So welcome to Tea Time. Jules, will you give a brief introduction of what the heck we're doing here today?
So we're doing it a little bit differently. We're changing up everything. We're doing it Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's easy to remember because it starts with a T. So Tea Time with Tea on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 o'clock. We're a little bit late because today's our first time doing it with this new format.
And StreamYard.
So we're doing on top of YouTube. We've already been doing that for a while.
Yeah.
We're doing Facebook as well.
We're talking bang for buck over here at TDR Mortgage. That's what we're about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So other than that, we're going to be every single Tuesday is a market update.
Mm-hmm.
And then Thursday is a topic that we will touch on Tuesday, but we're going to go a little bit deeper into. So Thursday of this week, we're going to touch on it today, but it's mortgage income.
This week, our theme is income, mortgage income. What do lenders look for? What can you do to qualify for the most that you can? Because people don't usually qualify for the least that they can, right? It's usually like, what is the most? So my job as a mortgage broker is to qualify you, kind of like get you the blank check to the maximum amount that you qualify for. So we're going to be touching on a little bit of that today and going deeper on Thursday.
Oh, and by the way, we're announcing our giveaway winners.
Yeah, we kind of lagged last week on the winners, but you know, it'll keep. I learned that because now I'm out of like Netflix shows and other shows. So now I have Acorn, and the Australian shows, they use he'll keep, or it'll keep. So that's my new word, just in case you're curious about that. Okay. So market update.
Jump right into it.
Yeah, you know, I struggled this week with, I'm like, what the fuck do I even talk about this week? Oh, the market's so great. Oh my God, rates are so low. The market's on fire. Oh, it's the best time to buy a house. Go buy a house. Everybody should be buying houses. Like, what realtor doesn't or isn't preaching that you should go buy a damn house right now? And so I just kind of feel like everything is stale, and you know, buying a house is really it's a one-off. It's not a one size fits all for everybody. And because the market's on fire, because there's so many people out buying properties right now, and the shortage of inventory, it's caused a bit of a frenzy for the inventory that's there. And so you've got multiple offers. And I think that there are some creative solutions to getting your offer accepted and becoming a homeowner. But I don't think that it's the end of the world if you're not, don't kill yourself to go out and buy a house. First-time buyers have it the hardest right now. With a highly skilled agent, with one of TDR mortgage and real estate agents, or one of the agents, one of the many agents that I partner with. Not every agent serves every single area, and I have partnerships and relationships with some of the best darn agents out there. And if you're in the market right now working with an absolute savage is critical, or you're not getting your offer accepted. So a lot of people out there that aren't getting their offer accepted, it's a combination of you either have a shitty agent and it's a shitty time to be a buyer, or you just have a shitty agent and that's why you can't get a house. So good agents offer solutions. Good agents are out there creating relationships with listing agents, and good agents are hitting it hard and really, really working for their money these days when they're working with buyers. So that would be my number one recommendation. On the creative side, on how to get your offer accepted, there's a lot of different ways you can approach this. If you have some money to put down, it's not quite as hard to get your offer accepted. But what if you're self-employed and you don't show all of your income? Then an agent that you work with can look for seller finance opportunities, which that's always a good starting point. Now, there's not going to be a ton of options, but there will be some solutions. And one of my agents, Clyde Hagan, hi Clyde, love you, rock star. He got this buyer into escrow on like a $650 sales price. The buyer's putting like, I think 100 or 200,000 down. Property's a little rough and it's probably a little bit overpriced. And anyway, he made it happen. And this guy that hasn't filed taxes, and I don't know how damn long. I know Jules is like, how do you buy a house without filing taxes? I don't know. And I don't know how people, like, if I didn't file taxes, it would give me such anxiety that, I'm so behind and I'm a terrible person. Like, I just don't know how you don't file taxes. So that's one strategy. Another strategy is lower your standards, ladies, gentlemen, lower your standards. So you have to go down smaller in size to something unique that doesn't have a lot of offers, or you have to go further out. With a lot of people working from home, what's a really super cool offshoot of this is there are a lot of areas that are affordable that are enjoying really big gains out in the mountain communities of like Arrowhead and Big Bear. There's a huge surge in purchasing properties up there. There's a lot of really cool, affordable properties up there. And with so many people being able to work from home. Let me just type. I want to do a comment right here. Oh no, it's going to mess me up. It's going to mess up my flow. Let me get this show rolling, get the show going. So Big Bear is is a really nice, affordable area. There are parts of Yucca Valley and Palm Springs and Indio that have some really, really cool inventory. that have
be a snippet that
have some really cool inventory. I'm obsessed with Yucca Valley. That's like Joshua Tree. And I mean, there's some really, really, really great inventory out there at really low prices. So I think if you can be creative, if you're working with an agent that knows the area, an agent just knows a certain area and hasn't been all over, then they're not going to know about these cool little pockets or whatever. So they're not going to know how to advise you. And then a lot of times I think buyers are really like, narrow-minded on what they want. They want, but right now is not the time to get every single thing on your punch list. Right now is a time to get something that meets your needs, unless you're like doing a move-up purchase and the sole purpose of your move-up purchase is to get exactly what you want. It's a little bit different story when you're paying all cash. You have a very, very large down payment. You're in a completely different leveraged position. So as far as market update goes, yeah, rates are freaking low, market's on fire, blah, blah, blah. So that's let me give you a little rate update though, because I think that's pretty cool. So each week I'm going to use a standard template on conventional. This is going to be a $750 sales price, $450 loan amount, $760 FICO, which is a 75% loan to value. And so a 30-year conventional purchase or refi is pricing out at 2.5 at 2.678 APR. So it's like about 1.5 points. A 15-year, 2% on a 15-year. So super, super, super badass. The APR 2.198. An FHA purchase, $500,000. Now this is going to be, FHA is 3.5% down. So you have a 96.5 loan to value. So it's a 482, 500 loan amount, it's not 760 value. It's a 500 value. Now that's a damn typo. Who do I blame that on? I think I did that. I'm the one that retyped it. I know I'm not perfect, just mostly. So did I say the rate on the FHA? I didn't, huh?
Just go over the whole thing with do you want me to do
What did I price it at? Oh, that pricing was really bad on that site. Okay. So a 30-year FHA is coming in about 2.75, 30-year fixed. And because you have that upfront MI, the APR on that is probably like 3.2 or something like that. So next, okay, so that's the market update, rate update. rates are largely dependent on equity position and FICO score. So you would do yourself. What is this doing? Oh, that whole time I had StreamYard going on this video instead of my name, Teresa Timms. Oh, well, say la vie. So FICO score. The best thing you can do to prepare yourself for homeownership is get your scores as high as possible. That's going to give you the best opportunity for the best rates. I want to go over mortgage income briefly. Thursday, we're going to go over W-2 wage earners. We're going to go over Schedule C, self-employed borrowers. And those are the two things that we're going to really mainly focus on and go deep. Talk about some different ways that you can get your income calculated to the highest limit. A lot of times I win loans from other lenders where they've been declined because I'm a master at income and knowing how and when to push or knowing how and when to document. So income is a critical step in the process for getting pre-approved. And so if you're working with a flunky, then you're going to get flunky results. So work with a winner and you're going to win, right? Work with winners and win. Winners win. I don't know where I was going with that, but I liked it. Okay. So it's so hot. It's like, how come we forgot to turn the air down today?
Well, because it's so cold outside. Me and Jocelyn were like, turn it up.
It was all nice. And then until it's like 3 o'clock and then you're all, okay. So, we're talking about income. Mm-hmm. So generally income works like this. Mortgage income is, they want you to have 2 years on the job. 2 years on the job. You can make exceptions to that, but very rarely. So one of the exceptions is if you have gone to school, maybe you've got a degree or you went to a trade school for a year or two and graduated and got a job doing what you went to school for. Mm-hmm. That is really the only thing that I know of where you can get in under 2 years. Back in the day, pre-crash 08, I would sometimes squeeze in somebody when they had like 22 months on the job or 21 months on the job. I would document that they worked for cash with somebody, but now you really got to have 24 months on the job unless you were in school. In the way that we calculate income, largely, there's really quite a finesse to it. And so when you're calculating income and somebody makes, I don't know, let's say they make a salary of $100,000 a year, and they also make some bonus income, maybe even some overtime income. And the base income is pretty easy. So you just divide it by 12, and that's your monthly income. Bonus income and overtime income have to be calculated over a 2-year period. And you have to have received both of those incomes to be able to use it. So Thursday, we're going to go a little bit deeper into that topic. And also we're going to discuss union workers, people that are on maternity leave. A lot of lenders don't even know that you can do a loan when someone's on maternity leave. Go figure. There was actually a big, I don't want to say lawsuit, but there was a big to-do about that. A discrimination was filed against Fannie Mae and FHA for discriminatory practices for females on maternity leave that weren't eligible to buy until they returned to work. So they fixed that. I also want to talk about self-employed Schedule C income, and we'll use like a little chart to go deeper into that. But I, as a normal, logical person, often do not understand how self-employed people don't understand how they don't qualify. Because if you made $100,000, right? You made $100,000. Okay, great. But then you had like $90,000 of expenses. And so your net income is $10,000, right? Your net income is $10,000. You tell me how you're going to qualify. Like, I don't, and then you explain to them often, well, you have to take less write-offs. but if I take less write-offs, I have to pay taxes. To me, that's like a dumb moment. Yeah, you have to pay taxes. You have to pay taxes. So you show income, so you qualify. You have to pay taxes, so you show income, so you qualify. And there are some tips and tricks to that too. And it's getting to the end of the year. So oftentimes we have people that will, so last year I looked at their taxes and said, okay, you really, let's use this person. Okay, you really need to show that you make $70,000 to qualify for that $400,000 house. So when you do your taxes this year, come to me and let's repull your credit and let's reconfirm the amount that you need to show to qualify for a house. Now houses, last year, houses are a bit higher this year than they were last year. So that's going to be a necessary. He might need to show 90,000 now. So, but then I have to pay taxes. So yeah, unfortunately you have to pay taxes to get a home loan. The types of the income that I know how to do that we just simply don't do right now are those incomes that are stated or bank statement related. That's a separate video. And I do have videos on the bank statement loans, the debt service loans, stated loans, no doc loans. Those are largely not available. I'm not offering them. I don't offer a product unless it's something that I know I can close on. And right now, the relationships and the lenders that are doing those, they're not lenders that I have really good relationships for. So I just kind of feel like it's a waste of time. But the bank statement loans are, you get 24 months of bank statements for the best pricing, and then you divide them monthly. But then there's a whole analysis that has to be done where you evaluate each and every month of the 24 months. And then any large deposits are questioned. And I don't know about you, but self-employed people or people that don't show income to qualify, guaranteed they're going to have some one-off odd deposits that require investigation and documentation. So anyway, so those are the types of income and things that we're going to be going. If you have any questions, any scenarios that you'd like me to go deeper into Thursday, I would love to touch on any of those topics for anybody. Okay, I think we're at like 18 minutes, so I'm ready to call it a day.
Do you want to announce who won the giveaway?
I would love to announce who won the giveaway. The giveaway people are on Instagram, so I'm going to turn my head this way for just a little bit. A longtime client who is a huge supporter and has now become a wonderful friend, Laura Camo and Jason Camo. Come on down. We have all your information, so we'll get you a certificate. And then a new client that we're looking at doing a purchase for her, and she's one of my Instagram followers. And I'm super, super excited because I talked to Jules. I'm like, oh, who's this? And I remembered seeing Delia post on the Instagram post, and I appreciated it and thought it was very kind of you to do a shout out and to do that, Delia. So Jules said we have all your information. Delia El Karaki. So we're going to get that info over to you, and we're going to help you get into a house here in the next few months. Okay. All right. That's all the info I have for today. My name is Teresa Timms. I'm president of TDR Mortgage and Real Estate Group in Upland, California, helping homeowners and home sellers since home buyers and homeowners. Yeah, that's it. That's who I've been helping since 1998. If you're looking to buy, sell, or refinance in Southern California, pick up the phone, call or text to 909-920-3500. See you later.
Guys.
Bye.